off the ground. Ain't no chain gonna hold me down. Dig deep, feel the burn. I've got a calling, so I should learn. I heard a voice of his broken hymn saying, "I'm not, this is who I am." I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher, 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 higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher, 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 higher. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Reach out, reach out. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Reach out, reach out.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Boom, boom, can you feel the flame? Hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? Don't let it bring you down. Look up and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit flow. I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher.
Chiefs pick is in. Let's go to Adam with more on Ferguson.
The foundation of any good team starts up front, and here's a guy who's a franchise's dream come true. GMs I talked to pointed to several of his games in college where he took on some of the nation's best defensive linemen, going toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes of brutal trench combat and dominating them. He's going to be able to protect the franchise quarterback in addition to opening up holes for the run game. With size, speed, and strength, he should have a very successful NFL career.
The selection is Thornton. Adam, what do you think?
Well, there isn't much to say other than this kid was born to run. He's the spitting image of his father, a nationally ranked sprinter in several major events and highly recruited by every major college. However, unlike his dad, he chose to pursue a career in football, and so far that decision is paying off. He may not be gold medal fast, but he has the speed and quickness to cause fits for the opposing team. He's the type of player you like to see out in the open field where he can make moves a lot of other players can't. The coaches are going to love having his speed at their disposal.
The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
Matt Miller was glued to the ongoing soap opera that was his story this season. A feared pass rusher, he couldn't quite seem to play with the same intensity on a week-to-week basis. Some weeks he looked absolutely unstoppable, terrorizing opposing quarterbacks. Others he looked out of place, struggling to make any sort of impact, even taking himself out of the game multiple times in fits of frustration. Some GMs I spoke to felt that his lack of consistency was due to a lack of maturity, something that can be easily addressed by the right coaching staff. This pick could have tremendous upside or could end up as a what could have been story. It should be interesting to see how this saga plays out.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
Most offensive linemen need a year or two to get bigger and more polished before you start seeing them play at a higher level. In this case, however, he has a chance to make an impact on the offensive line from day one. At the Combine this year, he looked like one of the stronger linemen, and he also showed great footwork and technique, which is usually something players his size tend to lack. He's the type of lineman that can provide an immediate upgrade to this team's pass and run blocking, and they're lucky to have picked him up before anyone else could.
Ravens have made their selection, and it's Buchanan.
High on many experts' draft boards early in the season, including Todd McShay's, here's a guy that saw his stock dramatically fall after several public altercations with his coaching staff on the sideline. One owner I spoke with went as far as saying his antics were so disturbing that they immediately eliminated him from their team's big board. Others viewed the altercations as a sign he's passionate about the game and not that he has any type of disdain for authority. Either way, there are enough questions about his character now that make this pick a bit of a risk. They say winning cures all ills, so it should be very interesting to see what happens should this team not get off to a good start.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He was one of the favorites to come out of the pro days purely for his want and desire to do everything the coaches and scouts asked him to do. He ran drill after drill, sometimes a second or third time, using a different technique. He didn't necessarily kill any single drill, but what he did do was display the ability to take instruction well and a great ability to adjust to different scenarios. He's a defensive back I can see playing any role in the secondary with some aptitude. We'll just see how the team plans to use him come September.
Giants are now on the clock.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's word to my father. I will for my mother. Deal with my brothers. Keep it real. Don't talk with no. Plus I duck under covers. Gotta stay on this mission. Got a vision that's endless. They told me don't be a menace. They gon' serve me a sentence. But now I'm up in the illest that did it. Get the cream look. Drop it in it. Give about opinions. I'm just minding my business. If I'm grinding, I'm shining. Don't got time for the gimmicks.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
A recent change to the Combine eligibility rules added an academic clause. Basically, it withheld invitations to the Combine from players who had a poor academic standing. I couldn't find out the specifics of his violation, but it was enough for him to lose eligibility for the Combine. Not only that, but some scouts pointed to the off-the-field concerns as a reason he slid down draft boards. At least there was enough tape of him playing for scouts to work with, and it was enough to impress at least one team, and we'll see how he does for them.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Now we back to square one. It's hard to square up. Everybody got come, mama cries, dead sons, Lord please bless them. Back to the party, I'm just pouring my. Don't give.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Come, better get them off. That's a floss track, better get them off. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let you finish, y'all. Block of diamonds, I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness. I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
For the ones that die, it's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight and lose your mind. Squad, I'm it. 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 Squad.
The Ravens are now on the clock. Lions are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. Okay, so the Lions pick is in. Let's go to Adam with more on Bird.
He was one of the most dominant pass rushers in college football last year, getting everyone's attention after netting over 20 sacks and setting a new school record. He started seeing double teams at the line midway through the season, and that still didn't stop him from getting to the quarterback. Scouts all agree that he has a rare combination of strength and burst off the line.
Falcons pick is in. Adam, give us the rundown.
He's one of the few receivers in college that no matter what sort of coverage you threw at him, he always came away with the ball. A great example is one of his impressive touchdown catches that has been on highlight reels ever since. It was late in the game, and the defense knew who the quarterback was going to target. He was surrounded by 3 defenders when his quarterback put the ball in the air, and even though he was completely swamped, somehow he managed to pluck the ball right over the defenders' heads.
Lefty McKenzie the pick here. What do you have to say?
He's a durable lineman who set a team record for consecutive starts, never missing a game throughout a decorated 4-year college career. Ross Tucker praised his footwork leading up to the Combine, where he did not disappoint, solidifying his position as the draft's top offensive line prospect. He has the potential to be the cornerstone of this offensive line for years to come and should provide consistent protection for a franchise quarterback. This is a great pick.
Dear Savage. Sacrifice.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Buccaneers have made their selection. What can we tell you about them? That's why we have Adam Schefter.
His team had one of the best rushing defenses in college this season, and he's probably the biggest reason why. Teams eventually abandoned the run game altogether after they averaged only 1 to 2 yards per carry in the first half. Among linebackers on the team, he would always lead the point of attack, penetrating the opposing team's offensive line. Every
Steelers are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
People tryna say I'm only in the me. Got a cold with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man, amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll, when I roll, must be. Amen, man. I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast, I gotta eat. Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peep? I was outside. The way that shake, leave your mouth wide. You need to say grace for you say thanks. Amen, what's left in my life, don't know what's in store. I've been dealing with these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Amen.
The Rams are now on the clock.
On the block, my side.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Yeah, the hood love me, but you gotta watch. Amen. I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, tryna.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Yeah, we gon' fall through, coming through deep. Amen. Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
When I rep the set, gotta stay blessed. Yeah. Amen.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
People tryna say I'm only in the me. Got a cold with my.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
I can give them life, no more energy.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Amen. Man, what it meant to me. Everybody trying to take the identity. Everybody around me turn to a friend of me. Sit back while I take on the remedy. I cannot let it get into me. This playing a toll on me, meant to me.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock.